it does not happen that if a person does something good or bad, he is 100% rewarded for it. So for example, Islam lays a lot of importance to spiritual development. It lays a lot of importance to training your mind and behaving in this world in a way that is positive and peaceful. So many a times what happens is that somebody does something negative with us, somebody says something bad to us, or he is engaged in doing something which is very unpleasant for us. So for the sake of God, we know that God will reward us if we ignore that unpleasantness, if we forgive the person who is engaged in negativity against us. We know that. So if for the sake of God we do it, we know that God Almighty will reward us. So there are a number of things which a believer does in the spiritual realm. Many are things which he does at the level of his psychology, at the level of his feelings. For example, you may be wanting to say something very bad to a person. You might be wanting to take revenge from him. But for the sake of God, you bear patiently with that person. For the sake of God, you tolerate his unpleasantness. You control yourself. You turn your emotions to God instead of letting out all your emotions, negative emotions on that person. So all these spiritual development, all this spiritual activity which is happening inside you, you're not immediately rewarded for it by God, right? You're doing something which amounts to a great psychological sacrifice. It is not easy to avoid what somebody is saying or doing to us. It's not easy to bear with negativity. So it requires a great kind of psychological courage, spiritual discipline to do that. And nobody is witness to it. No person outside of you sees it. It is God Almighty alone who sees it. Only God knows what is going on within you. Only God knows what is going on inside your mind at the level of your thought. How you are dealing with that negativity, how you're fighting it off and remaining on the positive track. You're not rewarded for it immediately. You're not rewarded for it in this world. And there is a very, very important verse in the Quran which tells us that those people who had made such sacrifices for the sake of God, who had focused on their spiritual development, will be recognized in the world hereafter, on the day of judgment. For example, there is a verse in chapter 57 which states that on the day you shall see the faithful, both men and women, with their light streaming out before them on their right hands. And you shall hear a voice saying to them, glad tidings for you today. You shall enter gardens with rivers flowing through them, wherein you shall dwell forever. So you see, here it says that in the hereafter, the faithful, the spiritual, will have a light streaming out before them. This light will be a spiritual light. It will be a reflection or a manifestation of the spirituality that they developed in themselves in the world. In this world, we are not able to be rewarded incommensurate with our actions, but in the hereafter, we will be rewarded in proportion to what we did. Whatever you did at the level of your inner being, at the level of your feelings, at the level of your emotions, will come out in the form of a spiritual light on the day of judgment, in the hereafter. Nothing of that happens here in this world. In this world, nobody sees you. Whatever you are doing within is invisible to the world outside. So all of it will manifest in the hereafter on the day of judgment. And that would be the proportionate reward for your struggles, for your spiritual deeds, for your good deeds, for your good behavior, your good speech. We are not rewarded for it amply. We are not rewarded for it incommensurate with the struggle that we do here in this world. We will be rewarded for it in the world hereafter.